world's richest man, the Tesla and SpaceX founder, tweeting after the announcement, "Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy." He's made clear he doesn't believe in censorship on the platform, so we'll all have to wait and see if he allows former President Trump back on. Musk has mentioned adding more transparency to Twitter's platform and getting rid of spam bots.
Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of Viral. Welcome back. We are back in effect here on Viral. We talk about entrepreneur Elon Musk. Yes, Elon Musk has done the impossible. Elon Musk went from starting his own business and venturing out to being a CEO of Tesla, and now he was a stockholder at first with Twitter. Now he has brought Twitter. Yes, Elon Musk has had the big buyout that many people are still pondering and wondering what's going on. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Viral Here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here as we talk about entrepreneur Elon Musk, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, venturing from cars to space, and now he's venturing to buy Twitter. He wants to be a big giant of a titan, if you want to call it entrepreneurial giant. Elon Musk has done the impossible, but many people are still speculating, wondering what he's going to do with Twitter, how he's going to turn the public owned Twitter into a private owned system under his umbrella. Let's take a look at what's going on with Elon Musk and Twitter right now.
Tonight, the world's richest man in charge of Tesla and SpaceX is set to become a media mogul. Twitter announcing that Elon Musk has bought the social media giant for $44 billion, writing, "Upon completion of the transaction, Twitter will become a privately held company." The New York Times reporting Musk negotiated the details with Twitter's 11-member board overnight and into the early hours this morning. The deal means Twitter stockholders will get $54.20 for every share they own.
So for a lot of shareholders, this is kind of a quick win. It's a very nice quick win. Simple.
Musk announced his proposal in a tweet just 11 days ago, calling it his best and final offer. He's long been critical of how Twitter manages content on its platform, telling a TED conference his takeover plan is about free speech.
Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square.
He's got well over 80 million users. He tweets a lot. He has been very public with some of his criticism about the platform, so he's putting his money where his tweets are. He's buying the asset.
Musk has talked about adding the ability to edit tweets and is promising to make Twitter's algorithm on how tweets get displayed public to build more trust. And he wants to eliminate spam, but he hasn't said whether he will allow banned users back on. That includes former President Trump, who told Fox News that even if he's reinstated, he intends to stay off the platform in favor of his own Truth Social.
As you saw right there, Elon Musk has done the impossible. He has brought Twitter. Now, many people are still speculating on what's going on with Elon Musk with Twitter. At first, he wanted to be a stockholder. He brought 10%, and then he initially offered Twitter to buy him out. Twitter at first refused, and now Twitter has no choice but to not refuse and brought out by Twitter. All this stuff that many people are still pondering and wondering, how this going to affect free speech. And then you had to wonder, does the Trump effect comes into play, where former President Donald Trump was banned from Twitter under Elon Musk's auspices? Will he reverse the ban from Trump and have Trump just go free long, say what he wants? But Trump has dismayed those rumors and reports that he's not returning to Twitter. But knowing Trump, he is, you know how Trump is. So he's going to be spewing out free speech and spewing out conspiracy theories, as he likes to say. But there's a lot going on with Elon Musk, with Twitter. Let's hear what you people have to say about Elon Musk buying Twitter out of nowhere. Take a look.
Media site during a recent interview. Watch.
Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square. it's just really important that people have both the reality and the perception that they're able to speak freely within the bounds of the law. A good sign as to whether there's free speech is someone you don't like allowed to say something you don't like. And if that is the case, then we have free speech.
Well, for some reason, a lot of people on the right are celebrating this as a big win for free speech. But the left loves free speech too, don't we? So why are conservatives so excited over Musk taking over? Sonny?
Oh, me?
Yeah, let's start with
Look,
you.
I think Twitter can be a really horrible place, and I think people are excited because he is sort of going to unleash the trolls, right? I think he is saying, you get to say whatever you want. I'm going to take away the guardrails. And for me, that is something that is a bit scary. And I think it's going to be scary to a lot of women because there have been some surveys done, and 38% of women around the world have said that they have been on the receiving end of a lot of abuse on Twitter. 85% of women have said that they have seen the abuse. And what's interesting to me about Twitter is only 22% of adults are on Twitter in the world, and that's from a 2019 Pew study. And so Twitter is not the real world. And in fact, on Twitter, it is predominantly straight white men. So when Elon Musk says, wow, this is about free speech, it seems to me that it's about free speech of straight white men. And so let them have it. Let them just go at it. I enjoy the block button on Twitter. I think it has a real outsized influence in our world because politicians and celebrities are on it. And I think what may happen, quite frankly, with Elon Musk taking it over is that there'll be some other social media platforms that take over where real people are talking, and there'll be real freedom of speech, because I'm kind of tired of billionaires taking over our modes of communication. You've got Jeff Bezos taking over the Washington Post. You've got Mark Zuckerberg taking over Facebook and Instagram. Now you've got Elon Musk taking over Twitter. You know, I guess billionaires want to take over free speech, and I'm not here for it.
Sonny, I think there are a lot of
I told you yesterday they run a real risk of sabotage right now. Bloomberg article yesterday, Twitter locks down product changes after agreeing to the Musk bid. The Musk bid, listen, this was not done by a few ham and eggers in a garage. Elon Musk brought in professionals to do this takeover. He's not going to buy a company for $44 billion and then let them just sabotage the platform. So they've locked the changes. I told you that yesterday. That was going to be a serious concern. A tech investor myself, not nearly on the scale of Elon, but that's always a big concern. Now, if they do that, of course, they open themselves up to definitely civil liability, but likely criminal liability too, depending on the extent of the damage and what they did. So, more updates yesterday. Again, a monstrous story. Their primary censorship tool on the left, Twitter, where all the reporters are. Now, Elon Musk owns a private company now. And again, I told you, the likelihood is that Trump would not go back to Twitter. Go back and listen to the show. It's Fox News. Trump will not return to Twitter, even as Elon Musk purchases platform. Will begin using his own True Social. Tune in. You're always a week ahead of the news cycle. Did I just say that last week and the week before? Now, listen, if he runs for office, they will likely do some campaign account, which would be smart. But like me, where I maintain a personal account on Twitter, but my personal thoughts, like we'll send articles, links to the show. You get what I'm saying? It's been very unclear. And again, it's my fault for being unclear about my position on Twitter. If I have to blog on something and I have a thought I want to put out there, which I do a lot, like sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, which for me is a lot, I go to Truth or Parler, right? Trump will probably do the same thing. They'll probably start a campaign account, campaign updates. That would just be smart, right? But his thoughts, how he feels about something, you're going to have to go to Truth. I said that a couple weeks ago. And that's why all the people asking yesterday, I got a lot of solicitations from media folks and others asking me questions about stuff. Hey, what does this do to Truth Social? Does this crush Truth Social? I said, how? Truth Social has the most important microblogger in the world. Trump. About 5-10% of the traffic on Twitter, folks, is about Donald Trump. Where Trump goes, social media goes. We, Truth Social, the conservative ecosystem has Trump. So no, we don't see how this hurts Truth Social at all, despite the left's eagerness for this thing to go away. Now, one thing I discussed too before, Musk owning Twitter puts big tech in a real bind. I'm going to do a monologue on my show this weekend about the real power centers in tech on Unfiltered Saturday night. Please don't miss it. It's super important. The Apple App Store.
Musk, yes, the billionaire that Senator Elizabeth Warren hates for some reason, even though she likes electric cars, Elon Musk has purchased Twitter to the tune of $44 billion. Now, is that a deal? I don't know. I don't know if Elon Musk even cares if it's a deal. I think he really does care about free speech. Now, in the wake of all of this, believe it or not, my Twitter feed and my Twitter follower account has gone up by 4,000 people in the last 24 hours. Now, many of us conservatives have been saying that we have been censored. We were definitely censored during the 2020 election. I talked about it often, but nobody really cared, and there wasn't really much that we could do about it. So now it seems that the restrictions have been lifted on people's accounts. Tucker Carlson is back on Twitter. Deneen Borelli has already posted that her Twitter account is finally going back up. What's very interesting about it is I do believe that my follower account is higher than what it says. So I can see that I'm getting followers, but the count never changes. And a lot of people have been complaining about that. And some people actually lost their verified status after the November elections, and especially after January 6th. So now people are being reinstated and re-verified as well. So there's a lot going on. Sean King, in case you didn't know, he is a white guy that pretends to be black because he supports Black Lives Matter, and apparently at one point in time he was really in deep with Black Lives Matter, meaning that he was actually making money off of being a part of this Black Lives Matter movement. Now, I know it sounds crazy because he's actually white, but for some reason he talks a lot about white supremacy, white power, and just yesterday he made a tweet saying that Elon Musk was buying Twitter because it was all about his privilege and white power. Again, Sean King himself is actually white. Now, as of this morning, a lot of people are pointing out that Sean King and many other people, many other liberals, extreme progressives, have deleted their Twitter accounts in protest of Elon Musk purchasing Twitter. The thing about that is there are a lot of these liberals that actually are very fine with capitalism, and they make a lot of money by posting videos and things through Twitter. So when you monetize social media and you rely on that monetization for your daily life, right, for income, usually that protest doesn't last that long. So we'll see how long some of these liberals are no longer on Twitter. But what I do hope happens is that now there might be some accountability when it comes to other social media platforms. If you follow me on Facebook, if you follow me on Instagram, you can tell that I have been censored, my account has been suppressed, or, whatever happens, whatever they do over there to change the algorithms. But hopefully this sends a message to all of those, like Mark Zuckerberg and others, that you can't just pick and choose whose voice you want to be heard. And so I applaud Elon Musk for going through with purchasing Twitter. I know a lot of people are asking if he's going to reinstate President Trump's account. I don't know if he's given a definitive answer on that. But at the end of the day, I think this is a win, not necessarily for Republicans, but for free speech. Now, everybody has to remember, free speech goes both ways. So if a Republican says something you don't like, even though you are a Republican, free speech is free speech, and I'm glad that we're having this fight.
Happy about the country and the civilization in quite some time. After the last election, which was just so hard to watch and everything happening around us, it seems like all the bad people have been winning. And out of nowhere swoops in somebody who, I disagree with them on some things, his China stuff and Neuralink. Elon Musk is driving the left nuts. He is driving them crazy. Elon Musk has just bought Twitter. You know how some of us, we kind of go, I don't know, if we're lucky, buy a new car or just buy lunch. I want Twitter. Now, the ramifications of this are profound. Elon Musk is trying to bail out Western society when it comes to the crisis of free speech. Not only that, Elon Musk has come out and he said, I want my haters to still stay on Twitter because that's what free speech is all about. Now, mind you, the only people who could potentially, by the way, a Tesla right here. I'm driving by the Tesla. This is what I love about this. The people who hate Musk, they're like screaming in their Teslas. Like, he's got you guys, okay? You're going to buy the Tesla phone. You're going to buy, I bet he comes out with a pillow, right? Poor Mike Lindell. He's going to come out with a Tesla pillow. Look, speech is fundamental to a society. We are the speaking beings. There are two ways that you can govern people. You can govern them through force, or you can govern them through speech. And the left wants to govern you via force. Now, Elon is not political. Instead, he believes in some very, I would say, exceptional core moral values, such as separation of powers, freedom of speech, dialogue, the ability to challenge authority. You see, when you're able to have freedom of speech, the best ideas are able to win. And you could tell that the left, they've never valued free speech. One of the reasons they hate free speech so much is that it calls out their tyranny. It calls out their tyrannical behavior and their authoritarianism. So you think about it, one of the reasons why we have remained so unfree the last couple of years, mask mandates and all this silly garbage, is we haven't actually had a proper public space to be able to speak freely. So look, there's some conservatives that say, oh, I don't like Elon. I don't like the fact the world's richest man is buying something. Like, look, in principle, I probably agree. In practice, I totally disagree. I want to win. And also, you could tell a lot by the people that are opposing this. Like the very same degenerates that scream at the sky because Donald Trump got elected, they're the ones that are just, I'm leaving Twitter. Like, what, yeah, how's Canada, right? You said you were going to move to Canada when Donald Trump got elected. Fine, you can leave Twitter. Guess what? Grassroots patriots, regular everyday people who love the Constitution, who love freedom of speech, we're going to make Twitter our new home because we already were there before. It's like we're coming back to what once existed. Twitter at its best was a place to be able to have ideas exchanged, to be able to have speech spread in a meaningful and coherent way. Elon Musk, he doesn't have to be doing any of this. Elon Musk could be just buying yachts and sports teams and all that sort of stuff. Elon Musk instead cares about the future of the very place where he made all this money. And isn't that the thing we've always been asking out of our elites? Why is it that we've always said, why is it that our elites make all this money and they want to destroy the place they made the money in? Elon Musk is doing the opposite. He's now saying, you know what? I'm worth $300+ billion or whatever, $250 billion. I want my children, who he has 8 children, 7 or 8 children? Yeah, he has like 6 kids, 6, 7, 8 kids. I want my children to live in a place where ideas can be expressed, where we solve our differences through speech. And the left hates it. And that should tell you everything you need to know about what we're dealing with. Share this video.
Elon Musk done the impossible, buying out Twitter. A lot of people are still pondering, wondering, what does this do for Twitter going forward with Elon Musk under control? A lot of people are still pondering, wondering, and see what he plans to do with it. But we here at Vow will keep investigating and keep seeing what's going to happen next. Thank you all for watching this edition of Vow. We talk about Elon Musk agrees to buy Twitter for $44 billion. I mean, billion with a B. Thank you for watching. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. We'll see you next time for another edition of Vow.